guys, welcome to Vice City Podcast. I'm Melissa, and over there cracking up is...
It's
I can't even talk.
it's Mario.
What's
And
up?
welcome to episode 3.
Woo!
So we've made it to 3 episodes.
Hell yeah.
Have you introduced the show? If not, this is the Vice City Podcast.
That's what I said.
Oh, you already said that?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I'm soft-spoken. Maybe that's why you're just not getting my words.
So
Please, take
Today-
it away.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Today we're talking about Slavic and Scandinavian mythology. We're going to, well, not necessarily the mythology, but the creatures and the cryptids and the legends that you would find in Slavic countries and Scandinavian countries.
I want to say right off the bat, forgive the pronunciations and forgive probably some things are going to sound a little funny and they're going to come out a little funky. So I'm already
Yeah, no,
saying
I'm going to totally butcher it. It's
Sorry.
not even...
Sorry.
So actually, just to clarify, so Slavic is actually an umbrella term that encompasses many different ethnicities, cultures, languages. Slavic nations, however, are typically defined by their language. Slavic-speaking communities actually comprise over half of Europe's territory. Many of the countries that are considered Slavic today were actually part of the former Soviet Union. There's actually 13 countries that are official Slavic states. This includes the Czech Republic, Bosnia, Serbia, Poland, Slovakia, Belarus, Russia, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, and Montenegro. Jesus Christ.
Wow, I did not know that. That is super interesting.
With Scandinavia only having 3, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Dropping facts.
Yeah. Fact bombs, bitches.
Boom.
Did we mention we're coming straight out the closet again?
Again.
So, again.
It's
I actually
kinda
like
cozy.
it. Yeah, it is. It's very, hey, straight out the closet. That actually has straight out the closet.
That sounds so bad.
That sounds, we should open up like a gay bar called Straight Out the
Straight
Closet.
out of the closet. Hell yeah. And we can do the podcast live from Straight out of the closet.
Woo! Fabulous!
That would be so cool, actually. Hey, trademark, please, nobody steal that.
Yeah, so basically we're going to be talking about different creatures that can be found in the folklore, Scandinavian and Slavic folklore. It originally started, I wanted to just do Poland, like Polish folklore, because I had gotten into it, and from playing The Witcher 3 on the PlayStation, they have such a deep lore and history behind all the creatures in there that I wanted to learn more about it just on my own. And when researching this, it turned out that all of these nations actually share some sort of version or varietal of these creatures. So we just slap the Slavic umbrella on it, put our tracksuit on,
Yeah. Slap it.
popped a Slav squat, and did our research. So here we are.
I am actually really glad that we did this because I had no idea that these creatures existed. In one of my freaking favorite, I wouldn't say my top favorite, but one of my favorite Disney movies, a cartoon.
Okay.
It's related to this mythology.
Okay. So
Super duper cool. I had no idea. I'm gonna talk about it later. Don't want to spoil it.
Well, why don't you actually start, ladies first?
Oh, you're so nice.
Chivalry isn't dead yet.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk about, here we go, butchering stuff. The Rusalka. Ooh,
The what?
Rusalka.
Okay.
I think that's how you say it.
No,
I'm rolling the dice.
You're reading. You know
Okay.
better than I do. I'd probably say it just
You're
as
like,
bad.
hey, you're reading over there. It's your problem. Okay, so the Rusalka is a beautiful woman, and she's associated with water. Sausage with water. And she usually hangs out around calm creeks, lakes, the woods, while she's, like playing with her hair, going about her day. People think that they're the ghost of unmarried girls who drowned by the river. And usually they're wearing a white dress. They either have like brown or red hair. and they got like flowers on their hair, and everybody finds them like
attractive,
enchanting more than attractive. And also
they just the song of a siren. They just walk by and see it. And
yes,
and
this is only for men. The
So
Rusalka only. What?
What if you're a lesbian?
I don't know.
Well, bye.
I didn't think about that actually.
I'm not interested.
That's a good point.
No, she just wants dick. It's all right.
That's all she wants.
That's fine.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Nobody's judging. But there's a twist to this, so like, don't get excited. Because yeah, she might look here right now, but wait. So men cannot like resist her. Whenever they see her, like they immediately fall in love, and they like to sing sweet bewitching songs.
Okay.
And that's how they put like a man in a trance, and he just starts following her. So then she starts taking him into the water so she can drown him. And once they're in the water, her hair's so long that it starts to tangle the guy, and she pulls him down to the bottom until he drowns. However, if you manage to survive...
How do you survive
This is hilarious. If you manage to survive, she will tickle you to death.
What? That's... What?
I swear to God.
That's your reward for... Then you don't survive because she kills you.
Who the fuck is going to survive being pulled down into the water, entangled in freaking long-ass hair?
But then she tickles you to death?
If you've survived her pulling you down, yeah, she tickles you to death.
It's fucked up.
I've never heard of anyone being tickled to death. Is that even possible?
I think so. I mean, if you laugh so much that you can't breathe, maybe you break a rib or something. Can you imagine?
Oh, well.
These tentacle-like hair strands just like tickling your
everywhere.
arms.
You just explode. Oh my God, that's so creepy.
Like, stop, you're gonna make me laugh.
Oh my God, no. Oh my God. Anyway, so obviously, like, there's not a lot of guessing on this one. They don't like women, and mostly out of pure jealousy, because the women that are alive are taking all the men.
Because they're haters.
Yes, and peasant women back in the day, in early Polish days, peasant women would hang. I'm sorry, peasant women would hang scarves and linens in the forest, so the Rusalka would be like distracted by it, instead of going into town trying to steal all the men. Okay. In early June, at the beginning of summer, is when they're most dangerous. Yes, especially. This is so funny. I'm sorry, like, I don't mean to be disrespectful if, like, it's in any way anyone thinks I'm making fun of someone's culture, but I just can't help it. Like, I found some of this stuff a little funny.
It's okay.
Yeah, I know. You guys can make fun of my culture all you want. So anyway, during Rusalka week, or the Trinity week, they're believed to leave the woods and cause damage to crops, illness, and death all along the countryside. The Rusalka enjoy dancing and singing in the forest of Eastern Europe under the moonlight. They're super cute, especially
after a particularly delightful murder.
Yeah. Especially, they love to gather in groups to sing under weeping willow trees or on birch tree branches. Any person that wants to join them in the whole dance activity has to dance until they die. And
what?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And after Rusalka week, the grass grows thicker where they've been partying. That's the evidence that the Rusalka were in the forest having the time of their life. Yes.
Like throwing up, taking shit, all the cum everywhere.
The cups. They use, oh my God, this is so bad. They use condoms everywhere.
You really think?
Sorry, that was bad.
You really think they're going to be using protection?
They used to. You know that back in the day they used to use like a sheep's
lambskin.
Yeah.
They still do.
Oh,
Yeah,
So weird. Oh, but I mean, it's different now.
Wrong, but no, they still use like lambskin. They still make lambskin condoms, but I guess
Just think of
it
old
doesn't.
timey.
I don't know if it either prevents pregnancy. It's like it's small enough to stop like the sperm from getting through, but not small enough like the holes to stop like viruses from STDs to get through, or
Okay.
or the other way around or
Gotcha.
something. I don't
That
know.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
don't know.
thought you were gonna say, but it's not. It's not thick enough to hold on a whole bunch of sperm because you're just gonna burst through it.
It's like you have a
you're
little...
gonna get pregnant no matter what.
It's like a little, just like a droplet. That's all it could hold. It's like any little more. It's like and it like pops.
It pops. Oh my god, I'm crying. Anyway, the peasants used to use the sign of the cross, incense, garlic, or wormwood to ward off the Rusalka. Some stories warn about them as kidnappers of children and attackers of pregnant women. And some regions of Eastern Europe once believed in Rusalka babies, the soul of unbaptized or stillborn children. I don't know if I want to see a Rusalka baby.
Oh, you know what's funny?
Wearing
is that
white with long hair, trying to sing.
that's sort of one of the ones that I want to talk about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Rusalka babies?
I don't know. I don't remember if that's what they're called. I don't think, maybe in a different language, but no, mine are called Mei-Ling'S.
Okay.
But I'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right. I'm almost done with this. Let me just run through this real quick. So, according to all the oldest stories written about them by the Slavs, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Slavs.
Yeah, the Slavs are from around the 8th century, and they're the equivalent to Greek sirens. The actual concept originated from a tradition where young women's spirits were symbols of fertility. They were called the I'm gonna butcher this. Beregini? Beregini. I'm gonna go with Beregini. They're the oldest Slavic divinities closest related to the woods, nature, hunting, and fertility. Sometimes these spirits were part fish or part bird, but they were always females, and they were always protecting nature. They were always hanging out by rivers, lakes, creeks, forests, etc. They never interfered with human affairs, and they were strictly, I would say, like they only cared about living things. They didn't really care much about us, like protecting the forest and stuff.
The forest.
Right.
There's a lot of those.
And also, like, they made sure that they were always providing life-giving moisture to the fields and forests every spring when they came ashore to dance. What's the name of this? These guys are the Beregini.
Oh, you skipped me. I was supposed to go next.
No, I'm not done yet. I'm still talking about the Rusalka.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
This is where they came from. So hold on one second. Don't skip me.
I'm not.
You need to just listen to me.
I thought you were
just
on a
sit
different
and
one.
listen. No,
okay.
I'm not on a different. I'm still on the same one. So this is where they came from the Beregini, or whatever. So when the 19th century came by, people stopped believing in the Beregini, and they started to substitute the concept for the Rusalka. And by that time, instead of being a spirit that is related to fertility and spring and like goodness, they started to be related to women of the water that were trying to kill humans, to make humans miserable.
Okay.
So who the hell became a Rusalka, you think? Because I said earlier that it was people that drowned, but there are other ones too. Like, any woman that died violently, either was murdered, suicide, but it was usually death by drowning. Women that were betrayed by their husbands or their lovers. Women who jumped into a lake or river because they were pregnant and they weren't married. Women that were virgins that were killed, no matter in which way they were killed, they became a Rusalka. And any unclean soul of anyone that has committed suicide by jumping into a lake or rivers. And around Europe, they have different names. And it's actually this is actually kind of funny. It's said that the further north that you go, the Rusalka is uglier, more conniving, more wicked. It's naked, and it's always eager to ambush humans, to torture them and to make them miserable and to kill them ultimately. But in southern parts of Europe and warmer parts, they're more beautiful. They're a little bit friendlier. They still don't have really good intentions. They're still dangerous.
The Northerners are just
It's
cold,
like
bitter bitches.
it reminded me a little bit of like Game of Thrones.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, because like if you go further up north, I don't know. I was just thinking of like, oh my God, I can't believe it that I forgot.
I don't know anything about Game of Thrones.
Jesus.
Yeah.
A good thing
All
I
right.
forgot, but it reminded me of that a little bit. So yeah, that's all I got on the Rusalka.
Okay, so I'm up.
Well, before you start, what do you think?
I mean, you just hit me over the head with a lot of information.
Because you're not paying attention. All I said, look,
I am
it's
paying
like a
attention.
siren,
Yeah, that enchants
right?
men.
That enchants men. But it didn't come from being something evil. It started from a
it's a
spirit that
person.
was actually good.
Got you.
And then
And it got corrupted.
over time, as civilization went on, they just changed the concept for some reason.
Huh.
Yeah. I just thought, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. So
It
maybe
is.
everybody has a different version of like a siren, just depending on
Where you're at.
where they are in the world.
Yeah.
Really interesting to see other mythologies from other areas.
Okay. I'm going to go through two because the first one's kind of short.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So mine is the Leshy.
Ooh.
Oh, I love you as the background, like my hype girl.
Ooh.
Oh. The Leshy is a masculine and humanoid in shape. Whoops.
What?
I read that wrong.
Excuse me. Rewind.
Leshy-
Please rewind.
Wait, let me start over. Take two. The Leshy is a forest spirit. It's usually presented as a masculine and in a humanoid shape. It's able to assume any likeness. It can shapeshift. It can change in size and height.
Whoa.
Sometimes he's portrayed with horns, surrounded by packs of wolves and bears.
Oh, badass.
I mean, that is pretty badass. Wolves and bears.
Okay.
Not like wolves or bears.
That's super metal.
It's like wolves riding bears.
Yes.
Oh, how dope is
Lightning
that?
in the
Can you
background.
imagine he just like emerges from the forest with these wolves riding these bears slowly, like trotting, and they feel like all
hell yeah.
battle worn with
Wait,
scars on their face. and
They're not
shit.
any kind of wolf and any kind of bear. They're like dire wolves and what are those like
werebears, bears.
dire bears, like those like I don't know from like that era. You all know what I'm talking about.
So Leshy's like a forest spirit. He's like the guardian of the forest. Okay. Some people say that he's known to have a wife. Or I don't know if it's her name or what they're called. I know I'm gonna completely butcher this, but they've been known to go by Leshachika, Lejachka, and Lesavika. Lesavika.
Why am I joking so much? I'm sorry.
And they actually have kids, and their kids are Leshanki. No, stop. That's
I'm sorry.
inappropriate. Don't
sorry.
laugh. And Lizonki.
I can't.
Oh, man.
I'm
I feel
crying.
bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna burn in hell.
Okay, so he's known by some to have a propensity to lead travelers astray. Either with candy or showing his legs seductively. I don't know. They don't really go into it. Maybe he just like
I thought that
his
was for
arm
real.
comes out from behind a tree and like this super slow and this big long finger just slowly curls back. Like,
Oh, fuck no. No way.
He's also been known to
no.
abduct children.
What is it with the children and all
I don't
this?
know.
This
But if it's supposed to be like a forest spirit, why the fuck is he going around taking kids?
it was some dangerous time for children back then.
They say that he shares the children he abducts with something called a chort, which I'm going to talk about next.
Oh.
Which would leave some to believe that, obviously, when you're going around kidnapping kids and killing travelers, some believe he's evil. He's also, however, known to have a more neutral feeling towards people. It all depends on their attitudes and their personality and behaviors as an individual. So I guess if you're kind of an asshole, he's going to think you're kind of an asshole, and he's going to, kill you. So he also tends to haunt towns where people, disrespect the forest. Not necessarily, I didn't mean to say haunt towns, but attack people who live in villages that disrespect the forest.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
We need some of these spirits alive around the globe right now.
No.
Yeah, so people stop fucking with like the jungles and fucking around, like burning everything. We need it. So whoever can get him in the forest. So we stop burning everything and fucking up Mother Earth. Sorry, this is the little hippie in me.
That's it.
That's it. I'm done.
Melissa's rant for the day.
I'm done.
That's okay.
Yes.
So basically, I mean, I couldn't really find much on him. He's a very interesting character that I came across. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about him. He's basically seen as a temperamental being, something like a fairy. So he's like a gigantic tree-sized fairy.
I think of the thing from Pan's Labyrinth.
The thing with the eyeballs in his hand?
No, the thing that looks like a tree that is like when she goes down that it looks like a big well with all this spiral staircase.
Okay.
And she goes down all the way down, and it's like a cave. And there's this like big creature that it's like made out of wood. It's like a tree. It's like roots.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Oh, that creature is badass.
That movie was great. I love that movie.
We should watch it.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one I'm going to talk about is the Chort. I spoke a little bit about him when I was talking about the Leshy. He likes to eat the abducted children. The Chort is known in Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Poland. In Poland, it's pronounced the Chort or the Chart. So, like fart with a ch. In Slovak and Czech, it's pronounced like Chort, and I know I'm definitely not saying that right, but to me it looks like a Chort. It's considered to be an anthropomorphic demon. In Czech folk tales, the Chort is not an evil character per se. It's often trying to tease characters into selling their souls in exchange for something like money, power, the completion of a task, the acquisition of some sort of skill. This often ends badly for evil or greedy characters who are tricked into getting useless gifts that are carried down into hell.
Oh.
So other times the Chort changes roles from trickster to the tricked as he loses a bet against the hero who outsmarts him, winning his soul back. I mean, that's kind of cool. You don't really hear that in folk tales, do you? Where the antagonist is all of a sudden the victim.
Wait.
I mean,
no, actually, well, I think I have. I remember hearing a story. It's like somebody goes to a castle where they have to stay in order to like get some treasure or something. They gotta stay there and spend the night with the demons. It's a castle full of demons, and he has to play cards with the demons. And he's betting his soul, and he wins.
Oh.
And when he wins, he has a magic sack, and it's a bunch of demons, and he gets all the demons in his sack.
What is it?
Yeah, I swear. It's a fucking awesome
sack?
Story. Because it's a lot of things that happen to this guy. And he starts collecting all these weird items that ultimately help him to reach his goal, which I forgot what it is. But the story is fucking amazing. And it's something like that to where, like, the bad guy thinks that he's going to win, which are the demons. And no, it's the other way around. They lose.
Huh.
Yeah.
So,
it's awesome.
That does sound actually pretty cool, but...
It's from the Storyteller. It's an old show, in case anybody's wondering what the fuck is she talking about.
Yeah,
Just look it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Storyteller.
Okay, so the Chort is often tricked to do an impossible task. That's how he loses. So he's been tricked to build. Like maybe like you're tricked to build a castle wall in a day, dig fish ponds. I don't know what a fish pond is. I don't see how somebody can dig a fish pond.
But how long? How long does he have?
I guess that's a good question.
Yeah.
Another one is he's tricked to digging whole riverbanks, moving large stones to create hills or mountains. But sometimes the church does have a positive role, namely in modern or more modernized folktales, where he's trying to bring evil characters down into hell with him. So he often helps the heroes, and in this process, he sort of gives them various magical items and treasures and things like that. The true form of the Chort is often said to be a smallish, hairy man with a tail, horns, and one or two hooves. So,
One or two, that's it.
like Danny DeVito with one hoof and one horn on the middle of his bald head. But he is a shapeshifter. He tries to trick characters in his nicer form before they even realize what he is. In these forms, he's often represented as a pretty young man, a count or a huntsman. This transformation is not and cannot be complete. Like, so he can never transform his whole body.
Okay.
There's always got to be like a part of him that is true to his original form. So you can recognize this by maybe you see like a little small horn poking out of his black curly hair, or a single.
Can you imagine? What is that on your head?
Oh, nothing! Don't look at my
I
head.
think you have like a
No,
like a
no.
purple
No.
cord chip on it.
No.
But let me just.
No.
And what about that?
I
thing
said don't touch me.
on your chin, like.
So you could see it from maybe you see a horn sticking out of his head. You see a single hoofed leg hidden in high boots.
Oh my God, can you imagine? You're like with a really hot chick, like, yeah, I'm gonna bang this chick tonight, like she's so hot, and then all of a sudden the leg is not her leg anymore.
That's like a hoof.
It's the hoof. Like
Can you
a
imagine
little
if
skinny leg.
she has like two normal legs and she lifts up her skirt and this big hoof comes out from in between her legs?
Ew! Oh no.
But anyways, the Chort, for clarification, is not the devil, although they might have a lot in common.
Oh snap!
Back to you, Melissa.
Damn.
For the next one.
That was good. What was the name of that guy?
The Chort.
The Chort. It reminds me of other characters from
Like
other
a
cultures.
super Spanish person, like a Mexican. It's Chort.
El Chort.
Chortos. No longer Chorto.
No longer
So bad. I'm so bad at impressions.
It's all right. It's all right.
What
All
do you
right.
have
So
next?
I'm gonna talk about another female spirit called. Here we go with the butchering. Poludnika. Yeah. Also known as the Poludnista, the Noon Witch, the Noon.
Ooh,
how
the
do you
Noon
say
Witch.
this? Wraith.
The Noon Wraith.
The Noon Wraith, or Lady Midday.
Yeah, a wraith is like a banshee or a ghost, some sort of female spirit.
Oh, thank you. I learn a new word
think.
every day.
Yeah, Noon Wraith.
So this is a noon demon in Slavic mythology who died, and it came from a person who died before, during, or short after their wedding. She usually appears in like a weirdly cloud of dust in the middle of like a field at the hottest time of the day, which will be like around noon.
How freaky would that be? You don't really expect to see
no.
scary shit in the middle of the day, right? You think that's when you're safest.
And this is another spirit that is deceiving in many ways. So when she appears, you can either see her in like that little cloud, or you can just see her walking by. And she's always dressed in a white flowing dress and a flower
wedding
crown.
dress?
No, it's just a white dress,
But
flowing
that's-
white. And
Yeah,
she's
so
got
like
a
a-
flower crown. And she's carrying what is Death carrying?
A scythe?
A scythe. There we go. She's carrying a scythe or big ass shears. Like old
hedge
school
shears?
giant gardening shears.
Like a giant scissors?
Yes, that's what she's got. So, and I find this actually kind of funny. What's next? Well, not like right the next thing. So she strikes people that are working around noon, causing them heat stroke, aches on their neck, and sometimes even madness. She will stop people in the middle of the fields to ask them very difficult questions or riddles.
Who the fuck would sit there and talk to her?
Wait a second. Who the fuck is going to sit there and listen to a fucking riddle?
That's what I just
In
said.
the middle?
Like, if there's like a dust cloud just forms in front of you, this bitch pops out of it.
Or she engaged you in conversation all of a sudden. She just starts talking to you.
That makes it sound so passive. Like, what is she just like, walking down the field?
I know it sounds...
excuse me, sir.
But this is why I say she's deceiving. So this is a high-stakes game because if you answer incorrectly, you deviate the conversation, or you don't guess the riddle, you're fucked. She'll cut off your head.
What does she look like? When she appears
She's
to
hot.
you?
She's hot.
Oh, okay.
Like, she's super hot.
Oh, okay, that makes a difference.
Of course she's not going to be all, like, hag-looking. Like, with the white dress, I'm going to kill you. No way. Like, you know, like, you got to be... Of course, if she's talking to you, and that's how, like, she kills people engaging you, I'm sure she's, like, super good-looking. But anyway.
Like, a 10 out of 10?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to get my head cut off because I'm not good at riddles. So, I don't know what to tell you. I don't really walk around at noon a whole lot. It's hot as fuck out there right now around noon. Anyway, so if you answer incorrectly, she'll cut off your head or she'll struck you with illness. The victims are usually ambushed from behind, and the worst fate is met by those who fall asleep under the sun. So don't go suntanning in the middle of a field. You're going to find this bitch and you're going to lose your head.
But what about all the people at the beach?
Well, this is in a field.
Oh, she only lives in fields?
Yeah, this is like people working the fields.
Oh.
But you never know.
Well,
you
sucks.
might not, the beach may be too far away.
Fucking Farmer John wants to take a nap. He can't even take a nap.
Grab your towel, get some sunscreen.
No, because then she's going to come and ask him a riddle and chop off his fucking head.
Well, I mean, take chances. Live dangerously. Yeah, no, what can I say? She also is said to radiate a lot of heat, and she can kill you with that as well. She can burn you to death. She can torture you. She can heavily injure you or kill you. If you meet her, and in best case scenario, nothing happens to you, she'll give you a bad headache. She can cause... Yes. So hopefully she kind of likes you.
I'm mildly inconvenienced by you, Spirit.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a headache.
I'll take the migraine over everything else. She can cause heart attacks, paralysis, or loss of consciousness. She may appear sometimes as an old hag. Like I said, a beautiful woman, or she can look like a 12-year-old little girl. Some men can become so charmed over her appearance that they just go insane. However, back in the day, people in early European history, when it comes to like this kind of mythology, thought that it was actually kind of like a helpful spirit because they would tell children that if they went into the fields at noon, they would be kidnapped by the Polutnica and they would be permanently blinded. So the kids, because of that story, the kids would stay the fuck away from the fields around noon.
Yeah. The sun's coming out, run!
Run!
Everybody get under a fucking tree!
Pretty much. The floor is lava.
Well, actually, I don't think the fucking tree would help. They'd have to run back inside the house.
Exactly. She's also been spotted in the company of black dogs wandering around small villages.
Black dogs and black cats get such a bad rap.
I know. Poor things. Or sometimes just like walking around along main dirt roads. They said that she targets people who deserve it, like cheating men or farmers who do not honor Mother Earth. See? Honor your spirits.
Are you fucking kidding me? What does not honoring Mother Earth mean? That's so vague.
I think that it makes sense because if you... Okay, we're talking about a field.
They didn't even have trash back then. They didn't have like fucking McDonald's wrappers and plastic
honor. But we're not talking about garbage. I'm talking about like, think about it. Back in those days, it's a field. You gotta honor your spirits. Be thankful to Earth. Ask for help and water and stuff like that. Come on, think spiritual. She
needs to reevaluate that. I don't know. That seems way too vague.
Anyway, in Slavic mythology, in parts of Germany, there's the... Holy Christ. All right, I'm sorry. The Rugen woman.
The Rugen woman?
The Rugen woman is the lady of the rye who makes children disappear when searching for flowers amongst the tall green plants during hot summer days.
See, there you go. Don't be a little dandy and go search for flowers.
Because the Rugengum is gonna get you.
Stay away from those fucking flowers. There's some
God
angry ass old tulip farmer had fucking German kids running through his yard. He's like, "You motherfuckers! If you fucking come around my flowers,
I believe it, because my grandma was one of those old ladies. Like you know what she did? So we had a 2-story house. We lived across the street from a park, and she used to take care of the plants right in front of the house. Sorry, but this is kind of funny. And I just remembered. I haven't thought of this in years. And she had what is that called? That looks like a Y, and you throw it with a little
slingshot.
She had a slingshot in her room, and she had little rocks in her room too, in her nightstand. I swear to God. And she would stand and look and watch the kids in the neighborhood play around. And whenever they would start fucking with the plants, she would start throwing like little rocks at them with the slingshot. And the kid would be like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And my grandma would be like, "Stop fucking with the plants." And they would never be in front of my house because my grandma would grab them with the slingshot and the rocks. So yeah, my grandma was a Rugenmunnen in a way. In the lower regions of Germany, the corn waif. The corn waif.
The corn waifs.
Yeah, the corn waif. The woman of the corn, or the lady of the grain plants.
The lady of the, wow.
The lady of the corn.
That's scary.
I know. It's said to kidnap children when they venture into the crops during the hottest part of summer days. During the winter, they're just chilling, waiting, and hibernating below the ground until summer wakes them up. Oh, and this particular spirit, the Poludnica, has appeared in games such as Archives of Nethys, Pathfinder, and what? I don't know. That's what I found. I know nothing about games. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the games in which she's in. I don't know what the fuck this is, but this is what I found. Okay, so help me, somebody help me. So I found the Archives of Nethys, Nethys,
okay,
Pathfinder, and Kingdom of Hearts.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom
Hearts is an amazing game.
She's there. The Poludnica is there.
Really?
Yes. Fucking children up
for
being in the field.
I miss that game.
Giving people riddles and chopping off their heads.
I was genuinely sad when I beat that game.
Really?
That was for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, it was so good.
Cool. So yeah, that's it. What do you think?
I mean...
Are you down for riddles?
No, and I'm not down for picking flowers, so she can go choke on a fat one.
Oh, man.
All right. I'm going to cover... It's two of them again, but they're sort of similar, right?
You're sneaky.
No, because...
You're like, there's so many I want to talk about. Oh, I'm going to do it in pairs.
No, because I don't know. They come in pairs. I don't know what the fuck is going on with these guys.
That's all right.
So the first one is going to be the Mei-Ling'S. In Scandinavian folklore, Mei-Ling'S are the spirits of unbaptized infants who are discarded when the parents are unable to care for them.
Oh, shit.
And are now forced to roam the earth until they could persuade someone or otherwise cause enough of a ruckus, nag somebody to death
oh my God,
to bury them properly in a graveyard.
Oh.
They're said to chase and jump on the backs of lone travelers.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, they're thought to actually be pretty enormous, like really, really big in size. And apparently, if they jump on your back, if they catch you, if they jump on your back and somehow convince you to take them to a fucking cemetery, as you get... Now, I don't even understand if they want to get buried, why the fuck they do this. The closer you get to the cemetery, apparently, they grow heavier and heavier. So the closer you get to this graveyard, where they want to go, they keep getting heavier and heavier to the point where any person carrying one or more, because a bunch of these fuckers can just like jump out and jump you.
Fucking hell.
The person can sink into the soil. And if you can't make it to the cemetery, drag your ass to the cemetery, they end up going to some sort of like neckbeard man baby rage and beat you to death.
Oh.
Which it's like, what the fuck? It's like, don't you want to go to the graveyard?
Wow, and I was like feeling bad about them and everything.
No.
Oh.
So they think that the history stems from the Norwegian word of upturd or upboard.
Okay.
Upbird.
Upbird.
The word upbird. The word means that which is taken outside, and it refers to the practice of abandoning unwanted children. An example being children born out of wedlock or to parents who lack the means to care for them.
Oh,
In the woods, they get abandoned and dumped in the woods or in
that's
other
so
remote places
fucked
where
up.
basically their death is certain. It's believed that the ghosts of these children will haunt the place where they had died, or even the dwellings of their killers. This infanticide is generally carried out secretly, and its victims were often abandoned shortly after birth. And from the perspective of certain Christian denominations, because of this, the babies are denied a baptism and acceptance into the church and a proper burial.
What?
So they basically can't rest peacefully, which is why they're running around trying to get buried in the graveyard. The belief that Mei-Ling'S are enraged and seeking revenge is basically what gave them the reputation as one of the most menacing types of ghosts in Scandinavian folklore. And I mean, some of the depictions of these are fucking gross, just like these fucking gross dripping babies
Ew.
with huge umbilical cords and shit.
Oh, you have to show me the pictures.
We'll put it on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. We'll put it on Instagram. Because the pictures I found of mine were like,
Lame.
I wouldn't say lame, but I wasn't shocked.
I wasn't impressed.
No.
The other one I want to talk about is it's kind of like a cousin to that one. It's called the Drekavac. I'm going with Drekavac.
That sounds good.
Yeah, this is Slavic, so it's a similar spirit to the Mei-Ling'. It translates literally to the screamer or the screecher.
Oh.
It's also called the Drakalo, the Krekavac, the Zdrikavac, or the Zrikavac. Jesus, names. It's primarily South Slavic mythology, so what it's classified as. There's some folk tales around this creature, and it's been described in many different definitions and different ways. In some folk tales, it's been depicted in the form of an undead man that came out of a grave during the night to haunt people.
Cool.
It's been depicted as a form of an undead, unbaptized child that rose from its grave during nighttime to haunt its parents. Also, this creature is known for calling out people and passing near cemeteries to baptize it. What the fuck? What do you just call like random people will walk by to come baptize you? Can regular people even do that?
Wait, what? Like, do you get baptized by a cemetery?
No.
What?
No.
What?
So there's some folk tales of this Drekavac,
Okay.
where it takes the form of like an undead, like a zombie, unbaptized child.
Yeah, that's...
It comes out of its grave at night
Yeah.
to either haunt its parents or to call out to people passing near the cemetery.
To call out.
To call out like, hey,
Oh.
motherfucker, over here.
Oh, that's fucking
Hey,
creepy.
you, come
Hey.
baptize me. That's what he says. It's like to get people
Hey,
to come and
mister.
baptize him.
That's so gross.
But what I'm saying is, it's like that doesn't really make sense because not everybody. You have to be like qualified. You know, you have to be Jesus certified to baptize someone.
Not necessarily. You gotta have faith. I don't think so. I don't think you need to be certified. Also, I got a useful tip for life. Do not whistle while you're walking by a cemetery.
Why?
Because that you will call a spirit. Something can latch onto you if you do that.
If you whistle by a cemetery?
Yeah, don't whistle by a cemetery.
Okay.
That's just useful tip. That's it.
I'm not really around cemeteries.
I mean, I'm not, even if you're like driving by one, because I used to drive by cemeteries a lot on my way to work and stuff. Because I used to drive around 8th Street, and there's one on 8th
Oh,
Street.
yeah, that big cemetery in 8th
Yeah.
Street, yeah.
Also in Doral, there's another one. I used to drive by it sometimes because I had to do stuff for work. Yeah.
Damn.
Don't whistle.
So, yeah, it's been known to take the form of like a humanoid canine creature that walks on its back legs. So I'm assuming like a werewolf or something. Some believe it's a form of ghosts of soldiers that wander around during nighttime just to scare people. It's been depicted like a vampire-like undead man that rises out of the grave during nighttime and wanders around scaring people. It's just like, what the fuck do they get off on scaring people? It's been depicted in the form of a creature having a dappled and an elongated and spindle-thin body with disproportionately large head. This version can actually fly. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But it's believed to be the soul of a dead child, which I'd imagine like you're a kid and you want to be super scary. You're like some gigantic spider fat head flying thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
speechless.
the most modern description and belief of it is that it's like a canine creature similar to a dog. They originally thought that the Drekavek came from the souls of sinful men. What is it with sinful men getting...
I don't know.
What about women? What about
What do you
kids?
mean, what about women? We had it pretty hard
Oh,
back in those days.
yeah,
We were
actually
getting
did.
raped. If we didn't do what we were told, we
That's
were getting
true.
killed. Come on, give us a break.
So I guess, yeah, sinful men have it in for them. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sinful men or from children who died unbaptized. It was popularly
children.
believed that they can only be visible at night, especially during the 12 days of Christmas and in early spring when other demons and mythical creatures were believed to be more active. When it assumes the form of a child, it predicts someone's death, while in its animal form, it predicts cattle disease.
Huh.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. The Drekavac is believed to avoid dogs and bright light. Also, it's believed that if shadows of a Drekavac fall upon someone, then that person will turn sick and die.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's... Fuck, man. The shadow itself can kill you.
Damn.
So... basically, this creature is used as a precautionary tale for children. There are adults who still believe in its existence. I mean, some of these modern sightings are ridiculous. I just have two. In 1992, it was reported that in Krvavika, the villagers found remains of an animal unlike any known from the area and claimed it was a Drekavek. It was described as looking like a dog, but with a snake-like head and hind legs similar to those of a kangaroo. Later, it was revealed to just be a rotten carcass of a fox. So, you would think that that they would know what a fox looks like.
Well, think about it. People thought the unicorns were real and they were looking at rhinoceroses.
It's true. And then in 2003, the village of Tomatino Polgi.
Tomatino.
Tomatino Polgi. It's a little too Italian for the Slavics. Hey.
Tomatino. Sorry, guys.
Buongiorno, Tomatino. A series of attacks on sheep occurred at night, with some villagers concluding that they had been perpetrated by Drekavek. Other villagers disagreed, seeing as the attack... Oh, oops, sorry, I got that wrong. The attacks actually took place in the daytime, so it couldn't have been a Drekavek, when the Drekavek is only active at night.
It sounds like the European chupacabra.
Except it's an unborn fetus. Or, a spider.
It sounds scary as hell, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not. But it kind of sounds chupacabra-ish to me. Just a bit. Just a bit.
All right, your turn.
All right. So, this is the one that I was telling you about earlier, that it's in a Disney movie.
Okay.
And it's one of my favorite Disney movies. So, this guy is the Chernabog, I guess.
Okay.
Chernabog. I'm going to go with
Chernabog.
He is the king of all Polish and Slavic monsters. He's also called the Chernabog, the Chernabog, the Chernabog, the Chornab. I don't even want to try this one. And last but not least, the Chernabog. The name translates to black god. In Slavic mythology, he was
Did you say black guy?
Black god.
Oh, God.
Yeah, accent, So in Slavic mythology, he was actually, he has a brother called Belobog, which is the white god, and they're always in eternal conflict. So he's a dark demonic deity. He's a hideous looking shadowy figure dressed in black who only appears at night. He's the source of all evil in the world. He enjoys stealing and devouring souls and causing calamity and disaster, bringing bad luck and misfortune everywhere he goes. He's feared all over Russia, and they see him as the equivalent of Satan in Ahriman.
I don't know.
I've heard of that before. I think it's
Ahriman?
Ahriman, yeah.
Ahriman.
I think it's Middle Eastern. I need to do some research on that. I was curious, but I didn't have time to look at it. Anyway, people would keep him at bay by spitting curses into bowls to like be protected from him. There's a theory in which they believe he was a satanic like deity created by Christians to cow people into following Christianity. He wasn't highly worshipped, and there are gods from light such as, holy Christ, Svetovit and Svetovit, and also his brother Belobog that bring light and goodness and can neutralize him. He is present in two historical accounts in the 12th century in the Chronica Slavorum, written by a German priest who was also a scribe named Hemold. And he, let me see, he describes customs from Wendish and Polabian tribes, which at the time were still pagan. And they believed in this dark, figurey, evil thing that would come at night and would hunt them and would cause calamity all over their villages. Let me see what else. Also, in the 13th century, there's an Icelandic legend called the, oh my God, Keitlinga Saga.
I don't know who named these things.
Well, I mean, we're not from there.
Oh, that's
so,
actually, yeah.
You know. Anyway, so it's the Keitlinga Saga. That sounds so weird.
Keitlinga Saga.
Which describes him as a dark, cursed deity. The name has been preserved in many Slavic curses, and here is the part about Disney. He is in Disney's Fantasia, accompanying the song "The Night on Bald Mountain," which is a piece by Modest Mussorgsky.
Okay.
And this film was released in 1940. He's depicted in the film. He's depicted as a night demon who awakes and summons evil spirits. Have you ever seen Fantasia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember
beautiful.
the part where it's like nighttime in a town and there's a mountain?
No.
Oh my God, it's so fucking
Is that-
amazing.
is that the
yes.
scene?
And then like the mountain is the demon and he wakes up and he starts like, and then like it's like shadow and darkness everywhere. And he starts to summon all these cursed souls from the earth. And
Really?
there's like demons everywhere.
That's in a
It's
Disney
intense.
movie?
It's amazing. Yes.
wow.
It's really awesome. So yeah. Oh, you know where else he's mentioned? In the book American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Gaiman? Yeah,
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman's a great author.
Yeah, so he mentions them, and I've seen the show, at least the first season and a few of the episodes of the second, and he's there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Also, he's in the book oh my God, Peshawar?
I don't know what that is.
Peshawar, The Peshawar Lancers by S.M. Sterling. It's an adventure novel, amongst other books also. He appears in several video games, usually as the villain, in the Blood series, Quest for Glory 4, Shadows of Darkness, and Smite. And that's all I got.
Nice. I've got one more.
All right.
But this one's like another lady, like your Noon Wraith.
Oh, that's kind of cool, because you did two. No, you did babies. So it doesn't matter.
I did
So say
babies.
you did two dudes and a girl, and then I did two girls and a dude. But I'm
No,
like,
yeah,
another baby.
I had a couple babies in there. Sorry. I'm probably on some list right now. So mine is called the Pesta. So folklore and old folk tales often depicted the plague, the Black Plague, as in the shape of an ashen-faced old woman.
Whoa.
That's how they characterized her. They called her the Pesta. It's a Norwegian word for pandemic itself, and she was usually depicted dressed in a red skirt and brought terror to all who saw her.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I mean, think about the way they visualize this, all these people dying all around them, right? Just some old hag in a red dress.
In the middle of all the dead bodies and the pestilence? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, no.
So this dreaded creature would travel from community to community with a broomstick and a rake. If you came upon a Pesta with her rake, then you knew that she'd spare you and some of your people. But if she started sweeping her broomstick,
Watch out. Watch out.
if she started sweeping her broomstick, there was no point in running. no soul would be alive by the time she had finished.
Fuck, take that broom.
But what I want to know is how long, like, what exactly is she sweeping? Is she sweeping the fucking street? Is she sweeping the town? Is she sweeping, like, a tile? How much time do you have?
I think she's just, like, stirring up the dust so it goes up in the air and all the the particles of, like, the plague go into everybody's body and kills everybody. Okay, destroy that broom, I'm telling you. Burn it.
Die by the hand of my broom.
Who would have thought that the most lethal weapon in the world is a broom?
Yeah, seriously. She was known to wipe out whole communities. People died in their beds or on the paths walking through the landscape. Many children were left orphaned and alone. The tales say that it took no longer than 3 days to die. The disease worked with such speed that people often were unable to free their livestock from the stables and sheds. Without food and care, the animals would soon succumb to thirst and hunger. Before long, the last man or woman was gone and everything was still. Years passed and Mother Nature would reclaim the buildings and fields.
Can you imagine, like, walking into a town that has been, like, maybe a couple months?
Yeah.
And, like, everybody's dead. And, like you said, like, all the animals died in the barns and all that. And you just see all the destruction.
Yeah, everything's dead. It's just,
So
I've got a story, like a little tale that I found with pests. It's called The Sleeping House Covered by the Forest. More than 100 years after the Black Death, in a different part of the country, a bear hunter completely lost his way one day. When out hunting in a vast forest, he desperately looked for smoke from a fire, any other sign of a fellow human being. The day was almost over, and he had given up hope of finding warm shelter for the night. But then suddenly he saw several buildings almost hidden by the forest, surrounded by trees more than 100 years old. Like a haunted place it was, and the hunter reluctantly went closer. First he entered the main cottage. By the fireplace he found a rusty pot. On the benches, some rotting yarn, and on the wall, a bow and arrows. A thick layer of dust covered it all. He jumped back, "Ooh!" as he walked over to a bed in the corner.
He felt the dig. Oh, sorry. Oh.
He jumped back as he walked over to a bed in the corner. Old human bones screamed at him and told the tale of what had happened here all those years ago. Pesta had paid a visit with her broomstick, and the world had stopped.
That fucking broomstick, I'm telling you.
What a bitch. Slowly, he walked through the other buildings on the old farm. Everything there was just like the people had left it. The man decided there and then that he would claim what he had found and start a new life in this thick and mysterious forest. He buried the bones, and very soon the old place that was once dead came alive. He stood on the shoulders of the dead and continued what they had started and worked so hard for. And with that, I am finished.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah.
That was a nice ending.
So that was, I mean, there's a lot more. I mean,
yeah, there's a ton. I saw another ones that I wanted to talk about, and I'm like, this is getting a little out of hand. Maybe I should stop.
I mean, it would take. I mean, how many did we even go over? Like 6, 7?
6. Well, you did double whammies. So like,
yeah, I did. Let me see. I did 2 babies. I did 1 lady and 2 dudes.
Well, I did.
That's 5.
I did two ladies and a dude.
It's been a crazy night. So.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
But yeah,
I need a little water, please.
That was Creatures and Cryptids Slavic edition. I mean, there's so many more. I mean, I'd really like to talk about this again at a later episode. More of them, just discussing the folklore and the history and more about these creatures.
Absolutely, and it's interesting also because a few of them, well, I would say a couple of them, remind me of creatures from other cultures that are so far from Europe, which makes me believe that maybe everybody has a version of something. Maybe these things are real. It's just that everybody has a different name for it, you know?
Yeah.
Or to a certain extent, because like I
wonder why like some of these representations are old ladies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what is it? I don't get it. Like,
we're old people.
No, but I mean I'm saying it's also interesting too, just to think like you can think of a couple of a couple like old. You have the old witches, and you've got these old ladies who bring death and kill people or curse people. It's, I guess maybe because they've lived longer and they would know. I don't know.
These guys are spendable. They're eating all the corn. Let's get rid of them.
That's all my corn, you stupid kids. I don't fucking know. Well, guys, that was episode 3. Again, we're on all the major platforms?
Stitcher, Spotify,
iTunes, Podbean.
I almost said Jelly Bean. Podbean.
We're on Jelly Bean. Whatever that is.
Everywhere.
Whatever that is. Google Play.
Google Play.
Yeah, consider giving us a follow, a like, a subscribe,
Leave a message, send us an email.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, anything. Reach out. Please
shit.
reach out.
It's fine.
Oh, and we have a Twitter and we have an Instagram.
Yeah. And it's all at the Vice City Podcast.
Vice City Podcast.
All of it.
We're going to try to post more things on Instagram. It's a little bit more interesting.
I don't like social media, but
Yeah,
it is.
I don't either. It's really hard to do it, but I'm going to try. I promise.
Kids these days.
I promise. I'm going to try to find creepy stuff or weird stuff, and I'm going to try to, shuffle it up a little bit. Swish it. I'm just going to swish it.
All right. So keep it real. Keep it weird.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.